Hello, welcome to another video. This is going to be a big unboxing video with a big variety of different things. I've got quite a few things that I've just ordered because it was my birthday not long ago, and some of them are going to be used in future videos. Some of them definitely will be because they're really interesting things that I'm going to be playing with. But I've got loads of random stuff. I've also got some other bits and bobs. But I'll just get started on one of these Amazon packages and see what this one is. Now I'll try not to kind of tell you for a while what these are for, if I can. But this is a Rolson 17-piece hobby knife set. It was interesting because it was age restricted. Obviously I'm old enough to get it, but it caused a bit of fiddling around when I picked up that package. So there's a hobby knife set. Now there's a few other pieces in here that are going to be related to this, but not everything is going to have. Not everything is knife related. And hopefully, if I can actually open it, get this package open for you. Now, it's stuffed with loads and loads of packing material that I get annoyed with, but I suppose is better than alternatives. Now, I'll try and find things that are related. So I've opened one of these boxes. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in it. 5 things? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 things. Now this thing is related to the knife, so I'll start with this one. And this one is a metal ruler. That looks really silly when I do that. Camera bends it. This is a metal steel rule that's just a... Oh, it's got different measurement conversions on the back, which is a bit interesting. This is to cut with the knife, so I can use this to kind of make precise cuts. Now the other thing I've got is this, and this is a glue gun, hot melt glue gun. It's only a cheap one, it cost about £10. Interestingly, none of the things I bought seem to have come with a kind of, what are they called? The piece of paper that tells you what you bought and how much things cost. But this glue gun was about £10. The steel rule I think was about £1 something. This was about £4 for this knife set, and the knife set's quite interesting because it's got 3 handles, well, 2 handles. There's 2 handles and then this pokey thing, but it's also got about 13 different blades, and it says 3 blade handles, but they don't look like the blade handles. This one doesn't anyway. It looked quite like a nice set. It's not made by Exacto, which is what I probably would have gone for, but it's basically the same kind of design. You've got all your different blades down the side, so you can choose which one you need, although probably I'd prefer to just stick to the same sized one and probably have lots of duplicate ones. But anyway, I've got a knife and I've got a steel rule and I've got a glue gun. Now the glue gun, I'm going to actually open it fully if I can. It's quite nice because it comes with its glue sticks as well, which means that saves money, and for only £10 it was a really highly reviewed glue stick, or glue gun, sorry. But it's not anything big or major, but it comes with a huge load of glue sticks. There are only really small ones, but it should be more than enough for what I'm using it for. I'm not doing any huge construction projects, and as I said, it's only a little glue gun, so it's tiny little. But that is most of the things for one of these projects. So now you've been puzzled over it for a while. I'll explain what the project is. There is also another package that's another package next to me that I haven't opened yet that's got a couple more things in, and that package has another thing in related to this. But these are all going to be used for modelling with foam core. Now foam core is that kind of piece of card with foam in the middle and then another piece of card sandwiched, so it's almost like a foam cardboard sandwich. So the bread is the card and the foam is the filling. And it's basically used for like quick models, as well as making little kind of not sculptures, but like kind of boxy creations. And what I intend on using it for is making a box for a board game. Sorry, I went blank then. For board games, although the boxes that board games come with are sometimes quite good, I've got so many that I feel are just annoying, and especially Tokaido is one in particular. The board game pieces do not fit properly into the box, which is really annoying, and apparently from when I've contacted the company, it's a problem with their production. They changed to a different factory and had to remake the kind of cutting press, and therefore some of the pieces are cut to a different shape. And basically that means that all the pieces don't fit in the box like they should have done originally. So that's a bit annoying. Plus, I've now got a difference because I've got the expansion, which is a different size. Some of the pieces, generally the character cards, are different sizes to the original board game character cards. And that basically means in the box they don't fit. Whereas in the normal box you should be able to fit in extra things, because there's a square where you should put in your character cards. You should just be able to drop them in. Mine have to sit at an angle because the cards are too big. So that's really annoying. So basically I'm going to use foam core, which is this foam cardboard sandwich thing, which is only 5mm thick, but you get it in like big A3 boards. I'm going to cut it to make these boards, or these boxes, sorry, and hopefully if I make them well enough, it should basically allow me to put all the stuff in a box, really organised way, especially a couple of other games I've got that are slightly more complex. So Dead of Winter has a lot of pieces, and every time I want to play the game you have to spend 10-15 minutes getting everything out and sorting out the pieces, and they all come in little baggies, the little plastic bags with like the pushy locks, ziplock thing, and they do stay organised in the box, but when you're playing you've got to kind of improvise on where to put them, and you've got to fiddle around getting them out of bags, and it's annoying. So I'm going to try and make a board game insert with these things. So that's what these are for. I'll put those to the side. Now there's two pieces in this that are another project that I've decided I want to try and do. And to start with, I have a micro USB card, and this is a Samsung Evo Plus UHS-1, and this is the second of these I bought. I also bought the same thing for my girlfriend's phone, so she could have a nice quick SD card because her other one was rubbish and slow. And that's for the Raspberry Pi Model B, version 3, sorry, Raspberry Pi 3. Now, I bought this because I've thought Raspberry Pis have always been interesting, but now it comes with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It makes it so much more convenient and almost like a complete replacement for a computer. And I have an interesting idea that I won't explain everything at the moment, but it involves chromium, and hopefully using this tiny little computer, I'll just get out and show you, using this tiny little computer, which is so much tinier than I thought it was, I'm going to hopefully make a little chrome computer. It's so tiny. Wow. I have seen one of these before, but it was an original Raspberry Pi, and obviously the same size. There's just a few differences. It's got a smaller logo, and it's got this Wi-Fi thing over here. But I'm going to hopefully have a little project where I'm going to try and make this into a little PC. It's basically going to just be a Chrome computer. So that's the Raspberry Pi, and I've got the micro SD card because it's a good SD card, so I can use it on my GoPro, which should be fine. It's got really high reads and writes, so it should be fine for using my GoPro, and it should also be really quick for the Raspberry Pi, and I know that you need a fairly quick one. Now I just hope it is compatible. If it isn't, oh well, I've got it for my GoPro if I need it. So that's one of the second things. The other thing is a comic. Now this is a comic because one of my friends, you know who you are, told me to read comics because she started reading comics, or not started, she's been reading comics, and I love Firefly, so Serenity comic is fantastic for me because I'm one of the people who doesn't like the fact Firefly ended. So now I have more Firefly in the form of Serenity, which is written in part by Joss Whedon, which is fantastic. And this only cost about £7, so it's really, really nice. And it's obviously only a little small comic. It's only about probably about 70-80 pages maybe. But this is the first in the Serenity series. So I've got this, and I can start trying to read the Serenity comic. Although this is, I think, one long comic. Yeah, it should be a good thing. So, last package. I am waffling on a bit, but I like waffling on. This one's the really, really big box. So, I'm just going to try and open it off camera, and then I'll show you things when they're open. When the whole thing's open, sorry. Cool. So, again, more packaging materials in case I need it. And I now also have another part for, stay still, another part for all this stuff on the left to make these inserts is a cutting mat. Obviously if I'm cutting I'm going to need something to cut on, and this is a nice cutting mat self-healing thing, which should mean it's much easier to cut, especially because it's got these little guidelines on the distance measures, so I can kind of know how thick things are. If I know the board's 5mm thick, I can kind of accommodate that and make it, should make measuring slightly easier. It's worth noting that this comes slightly wonky. I have no idea if you'll be able to see that, but it's very wonky. I'm sure it'll flatten out, but I'm going to want to leave that to flat. And I believe this is the last thing, and this is for the Raspberry Pi. This is a case, which I think said it was the official case. It's got the actual logo on, but this is just a small little case for the Raspberry Pi. It's a white and red, and there was also a black option, but I thought the white and red kind of looked more fitting for a Chrome OS type Raspberry Pi thing, and I just thought it looked a bit more fun. And since I'm not planning on using the Raspberry Pi for anything overly serious, I'm just going to play around with it and basically use it as a sacrificial computer, since it's £30, 31.20 or something like that. It's fantastic. I have got a big desktop, and I have tried putting Linux on it, and then I ended up having problems where it installed a bootloader that was a bit weird and ended up not recognizing Windows, and it went a bit weird. So I'm not going to mess around with my desktop anymore. So Raspberry Pi is for messing around. Probably going to try Chromium OS, because I know that's being ported to the Raspberry Pi 3 and 2. But I'm also probably going to try the, what's it called? I think Ubuntu Mate, which is like a wound back version of Ubuntu that is slightly less graphical, I think, but should work quite nicely. So I'll play around with both of those and hopefully film that process. I'm not very good at coding. I'm not good at coding. I don't do coding. I've had a little bit of experience trying to use the command line in Ubuntu Linux, and never did much with it. But hopefully this will get me more used to that, and I can play around with it and not worry about it, because if anything goes wrong with this, all I have to do is pull the SD card out, flash a new operating system on, and it's back to normal. But yeah, this case, I'm going to open the case just so I can show you exactly what it looks like, because it's quite a nice case, I think. I'm going to use some scissors for this. If anyone hasn't got a pair of Swiss Army knife things, is that pull open? Just pull open. If anyone hasn't got a Victorinox, just get a Victorinox. They're fantastic. They may not have the best metal, and they may not be the best overall, but for the package, it's so neat and tidy. You can put it on a key ring. It's not going to hurt your pocket and stab you or anything, and it's just really nice. It's small, it's got everything I need. Scissors are really useful, knives are really useful, and they're all legal to carry by current UK laws. Not in every country though, so it's worth checking that. But this is the little case. I don't know how it comes apart. It just looks like it pops apart. I don't know. Oh, it comes with little rubber feet. That's nice. Oh yeah, for the bottom. Cool. I'm trying to figure out how to get the sides off. Okay, they're just little push off. They've got little kind of springy loaded. Oh, and the whole top comes off. Oh, this is awesome. Cool. Well, I've got this little case now to play around with. So I'm going to put this all together, and I'll probably make individual videos about all these projects as I'm doing them, apart from probably the comic book. I might talk about the comic once I've read it, maybe, in a vloggy type thing. But thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions about any of these things, or any suggestions, if you want me to try anything, or you want me to try a project with any of the glue gun stuff, or make anything, let me know and I could try it. I'm probably going to like play around with this for a bit today and see how the cutting mat and glue gun works, and probably just use all the boxes, I'm going to play around with all the boxes and make things. Glue gun sculptures. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you in another video. Goodbye.